Yeah, it's recording. Yeah. So what was the why we are not able to prepare fluoro compounds in using this electrophilic substitution method? Or if you want to do an iodo compound, then you have to use a stronger oxidizing agent like HNO3 or HiO4. So why is it so? Mm. Mm. Yes. It's also highly reactive. Yeah, for fluorine, what is the reaction is electrophilic substitution reaction. That means stronger the electrophile, the reaction will be more faster or vigorous. So fluorine being the smallest and the highly electronegative, it's highly electrophilic in nature. Electrophilic in nature mean yeah. So what will happen? The reaction will be more vigorous or faster so that it will be uncontrollable. It will be very highly vigorous reaction. That is why you cannot prepare a fluoro compound, fluoroarenes using this method. But in the case of iodine, it's being the last one in the periodic, I mean the group 7 halogen. So it's being the bigger and the less electrophilic in nature. So as a result, what will happen? Yeah, so it will be very slower, so it need a strong oxidizing agent like HNO3 or HiO4. If you're simply using FeCl3, this reaction will not happen. It will be a very slower reaction. If you don't use, in the case of iodine, if you want to prepare iodoarenes, then you have to use HNO3 or HiO4, any of the strong oxidizing agent. If you're using a normal thing, that is FeCl3 is the normal thing. You can see on the arrow, it is either Fe or FeCl3. These is a catalyst. If you use Fe or FeCl3 and you're adding iodine, you will not get a product because the reaction will be very slow. So you need a stronger oxidizing agent as catalyst for the iodine to get substituted because iodine is a less reactive electrophile, less electrophilic in nature among fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, as these are the main four halogen. Chlorine and bromine can be done easily with this method. You just add chlorine in presence of FeCl3. You just add bromine in presence of FeBr3, like the catalyst. So you will get the products. But for fluorine, we don't recommend this method because it's highly explosive, being highly strong, electronegative and highly electrophilic, the reaction will be faster. So you cannot control a reaction or it's like explosive. That's the one reason why we are not preparing a fluoro compound using electrophilic substitution method. But in the case of iodine, if you want to get iodine as a substituted in the aromatic compound, then instead of Fe or FeCl3, you have to use HNO3 or hydroiodic acid, HiO4. Then only you will get the electrophilic substitution done because Fe or FeCl3 won't be enough to activate iodine to get the result because it will be very slow. You won't get a product. Yeah. Just take it in a positive way that you people are preparing for PT1. That is why no connection with what we are currently doing. Now people should be always optimistic, right? So I am always optimistic and think that PT1 paper answer paper will be very good. Okay, because now you're not studying organic as it's not there for the PT1. That is why the silence, no continuation, no touch with the current topic, everything like that. So I'm an optimist. Second method, this is very, very important and one of the repeatedly asked questions from this chapter. Maybe as a direct named reaction, Sandmeyer's reaction, or indirectly as part of what you can say, chain reaction or completing the product, identify the product, preparation reaction, conversion. So many areas where you can get this Sandmeyer's reaction. So Sandmeyer's reaction is where your starting reagent is a primary amine. So it's a two-step reaction. First step is formation of diazonium salt. Second step is the formation of your haloarine. So it's a two-step reaction. We just started, I remember, we just started discussing this reaction, but we could not explain completely. And I think I was explaining about in situ reaction and all, right? Yeah, we just started. I still remember. Yeah. So here the reagent is actual reagent you need is HNO2. That is nitrous acid. HNO3 is nitric acid and HNO2 is nitrous acid. But the problem of nitrous acid is that it is highly unstable. When a reagent is unstable, you cannot prepare well in advance or keep it in a bottle. So that is the reason why instead of preparing and keeping HNO2 before the start of the experiment, you will prepare that reagent inside the reaction mixture. That is why in situ reactions. So in order to prepare HNO2, you are using NaNO2 and HCl. Usually we take NaNO2, sodium nitrite, and HCl. So that is why I am showing it both the way. HX mean HCl, HBr like that. Acids, hydrochloric acid or hydrobromic acid. Yeah, usually we take HCl. The reason why I am showing both because in the exam on the arrows they can either write HNO2 or sometimes they write NaNO2 plus HCl. So both the way the question can be there. So you should be familiar why we are using NaNO2 and HCl instead of HNO2. So sometimes they will directly use nitrous acid. Because actual reagent what we need is nitrous acid HNO2. But as it is unstable, you are preparing it inside the reaction mixture by using NaNO2 and HCl. NaNO2 and HCl. After the reaction. Yeah, N2. I'll come to that. So you can see the first, it's an intermediate product. It's not a stable product because it got positive and negative ion. They are actually a salt. Just like your Na plus and Cl minus is a salt. It's an ionic compound containing positive and negative ion, right? Similarly, the product what you get got a positive ion and a negative ion. That is why it is known as diazonium salt. Actually, aza or azo, the name in organic is related to the element nitrogen. Diazo compounds, that means two nitrogen. Okay, azide. Azide is a compound containing nitrogen. So azide or aza or azo, the term in organic is refers that compound contains nitrogen. So diazonium salt means it's a salt containing a positive and negative ion where you have two nitrogen. The positive charge is on nitrogen. That's why you can see this can be split as something benzene with N2 plus and Cl minus. If you take HCl, you will get here Cl minus. If you take HBr, then it will be N2 plus Br minus. So whatever the halide you are taking, that is usually you will get. So mostly we take HCl. 99.9% of cases we take NaNO2 and HCl. So what you get is a diazonium salt. So NaNO2 and HCl will react together and form HNO2 and that HNO2 is necessary condition for the reaction. And one more thing, the temperature is also very, very important. It's not like a room temperature reaction. It is 273 to 278 mean 0 to 4 degree or 0 to 3 degrees Celsius. Below 4 degree, the reaction should happen below 4 degrees Celsius. The temperature is very, very low, almost freezing temperature. So only at that condition, only this reaction happen. And the name, this step is known as diacetization. It's a diacetization reaction because you're preparing a diazonium chloride. So in Sandmeyer's reaction, as I said, it's a two-step. In first step is preparation of diazonium salt, or you can say the diacetization, where you're preparing a diazonium compound by the treatment with nitrous acid. So here the reagent is important, the temperature is important, and you need a primary amine here. Any aromatic amine which is primary, you can't take a branched one.
So what's the reason for temperature being zero? Why should the temperature be zero? Is there a reason for it?
A reason is because then only the reaction will happen. Slow down the reaction. Otherwise, the collision won't happen. Because you're learning in kinetics about the collision theory. If collision, you have to certain cases, the molecules you have to slow down, and collision should happen to get the product. So there are certain reactions where you need to give energy. For some, you have to cool down. That is based on its energy, kinetic energy, activation energy, so many things related to it. So am I clear with the first step of Sandmeyer's reaction? Sandmeyer's reaction in two steps. Yeah.
What does it mean by primary amine?
Primary, secondary, tertiary, everywhere, whether it's an amine or any compound, it's same meaning. Amine is actually an organic compound containing NH2 functional group. So benzene ring with NH2 functional group is amine. Any functional organic compound with NH2 is directly known as amine. Just like carboxylic acid, just like halide, just like alcohol being OH as a functional group, for amine the functional group is NH2. So it's another branch of organic compound. You're learning it this year as last chapter in organic, the fourth chapter in organic. Amines. So primary amine mean amines in which carbon is directly added to the functional group. There is no other branches.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So primary, it's an aromatic compound because you're preparing a haloarenes. Am I clear with the first step?
Yes.
Yeah? Right. Once you get a diazonium chloride in Sandmeyer's reaction, that is the main step. That is the second step is the main step. You will treat it with copper halide. So once you got your diazonium salt, okay, diazonium halide, you will treat it with copper halide. So you need chlorine as a substituent. You will take Cu2Cl2 and HCl. If you need a bromine to be substituted, then you will take Cu2Br2 in presence of HBr. So basically, it's only for chlorine and bromine product. You can't prepare a fluoro or iodo compounds in this Sandmeyer's reaction. So first step is diacetization. Second step is treating this diazonium chloride with copper halide. So generally you can write it as Cu2 copper halide as Cu2X2. So if you need a chloro product, you can see it's based on whatever the X you have taken here, same thing you will get. So if you get take Cu2Cl2, then it should be in presence of HCl. Otherwise, it should be Cu2Br2 in presence of HBr. So this is what known as Sandmeyer's reaction. Sometime when you need to get a product during the conversions and all, rather than showing it in two steps, there is an easy way of showing it. And you will write like this. First step is treatment with NaNO2 and HCl at 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. And second step is treatment with Cu2Cl2 in presence of HCl so that you will get a product Cl. So this is another way of writing the same thing. You write it as two different things. On the arrows, you write 1 and 2 above and below the arrows so that first step is diazotization and the second step is the substitution with copper halide. So like that also, this is when you are doing this kind of reaction during a conversions.
So, so we don't need to show the diazotization.
If it is directly a Sandmeier reaction and directly only about this question, you have to write it in two steps. But when this is asked as part of any other conversion, where you can't write it in so many steps, you have to show it in entire thing in maybe two steps. So this can be done in shown in this way. Okay. So when this question comes as part of conversion reaction, you will use this method of writing it. Because if you know the reaction, then only you can write it in this way. The person who know the steps, then only they will write both the steps because everything is very clear. First, you have to treat with sodium nitrite and HCl at 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. And in the second step, you will treat it with copper halide and HCl so that your final product is a chlorobenzene.
Ma'am, so only this last reaction is called Sandmeier's reaction. The second step?
Yeah, diazotization is actually used in many other reaction. So Sandmeier's reaction is to get a Sandmeyer reaction. First, you need to prepare a diazonium compound first. Yeah. So that is generally used for many other reaction other than Sandmeier's also. So this is basically the second step. Is that's what I said. It's very important in Sandmeier's.
HCl is not mentioned in the reaction. Do we need to write it? No, in the bottom.
Yeah, you have to show it HCl. Yeah. That's here they have written it very clearly in the statement, maybe like.
Should be plus HCl?
Or anything plus HCl or slash HCl, both are reagent like that. Either way, it's fine. Plus HCl or you can write slash HCl. Or you put just comma like that. That also they accept Cu2X2 HCl. That way you can represent. So diazotization is a different topic only that you're learning in chapter amines. Because from that diazonium compound, you can prepare so many other compounds. Only one method is Sandmeier's where you're getting halo compounds.
Now the final one we will have N2 as
Hmm?
and the final one we will have N2 as a product.
N2, no?
The final.
Only you will write the starting and the final product only. No need to show the diazonium if you're showing both the reagent on that.
Only the main one.
Only main product. Is that clear? What is Sandmeier's reaction? Very, very important. Because in conversion reactions, in organic conversions, we don't go for the byproducts. We just write what is your starting main reactant and major product only. We don't write end-to-end conversion. But if the question is about what is right, explain Sandmeier's reaction or explain the name reaction, then one is Sandmeier's. In that case, you can write the full equation step by step because you're explaining only on a particular reaction. But when it's a conversion, it's about just converting one product to the other, maybe in different steps. So there you don't have to worry about need to worry about the byproduct because that's not making any difference in the question. So that means you need to practice and you will get to know like when to use which equation and when you will use the simple one like that.
They asked a question where you're telling me to describe Sandmeier's reaction.
Yeah.
We need to talk about
Diazotization. Yeah.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah. Because in Sandmeier's, without a formation of a diazonium chloride, you can't do the second step. So you have to explain that. The third method is Gattermann reaction. The same Sandmeyer's reaction can be called as Gattermann reaction if you use copper powder in presence of HCl or HBr. That means in our previous example, this one, here we were using copper halide, right? Instead of that, for the same diazonium second step, in the second step with diazonium halide N2 plus X minus, if you are using copper in presence of HCl, okay, same product you will get, only the difference is there in usage of copper. Here in Sandmeyer's reaction, you are using copper halide, but in Gattermann reaction, you are using copper metal in the powder form. That is the only difference. This is because different scientists found method of preparing haloarenes using different reagent. So that is why the method is named after, like, with their name. So Gattermann reaction is, he found out that chlorobenzene can be prepared after diazonium chloride preparation. You treat it with copper and HCl. So you will get the product. So only difference in Sandmeyer's reaction, you have to use Cu2X2, copper halide, either copper chloride or copper bromide in HCl. And the other one is copper with HCl.
So only for chloride?
Yeah.
So we can't use bromide.
Bromide, copper, HBr also you can use.
But we can't use chloride and iron.
Only this Sandmeyer's reaction on Gattermann, both is for preparation of chlorobenzene and bromobenzene. You can't prepare a fluoro or iodo this. That is a different method, not known as Sandmeyer's or Gattermann. You can do it, but it's a different method and it's not coming under the name reaction Sandmeyer's or Gattermann reaction. That's what described in the next 2 points. If you want to replace a diazonium group by iodine, it does not require any metal, copper or halide. You just need it by simply mixing diazonium salt with potassium iodide. You don't need a catalyst as copper halide or copper. You just take your diazonium halide, that is N2 plus X minus, and treat it with potassium iodide so that you will get your iodo compound, that is iodobenzene. So it's not coming under Sandmeyer's reaction. This is just the preparation of iodobenzene, where first you will do the diazotization and you will treat it with potassium iodide to get iodobenzene. So this is not coming under Sandmeyer's. Sandmeyer's mean it is only chlorine and bromine, and for Gattermann reaction also preparation of chlorobenzene or bromobenzene. Only difference is that their reagents in the second step is different. And for fluorine, again, after the preparation of diazonium salt, you need to heat it with fluoroboric acid. So these two reactions are not under the Sandmeyer's or Gattermann named reaction. They are separate because they don't need any copper as a catalyst. Previous one? Yeah.
That's potassium chemical formula for potassium iodide.
Ki is potassium iodide. Yeah. We'll write, I'll show it as a full table with showing this one. So these are the 3 different methods of preparing haloarenes: electrophilic substitution, Sandmeyer's reaction, or you can say Gattermann reaction, that is basically for chlorine and bromo product. In all these cases, you can see iodine and fluoro compounds have got a different method. So basically electrophilic substitution, Sandmeyer's reaction, Gattermann reactions are to prepare chloro and bromo benzenes or its derivative. Anyway, chloro and bromo product directly. Electrophilic substitution, you can't prepare a fluoro compound because it's highly reactive and explosive, vigorous reaction. And iodo compound, you have to use a different strong oxidizing agents, HNO3 or HiO4, etc. And Sandweiss reaction, you will use copper halide, that is Cu2Cl2 or Cu2Br2. And for Gattermann reaction, instead of halide, you'll just take copper in presence of HCl or HBr. So to get a fluoro or iodo product, you just need to heat the diazonium compound with Ki to get iodine and fluoroboric acid to get.
This is also two-step reaction.
Because you have to prepare diazonium compound. That is common. I thought I'll give it as a chart. Okay, no problem. We'll do it in the next period. Yeah. Then physical properties. Physical properties are also important. One more question they usually ask. And what is more important is the chemical properties. Maybe we have to do it in the summer class or after PT1 exam. Let's see.